Before passenger jets dominated, the vision of global travel relied on different machines. In the 1930s, these silver giants, Zeppelins, represented the height of modern technology. Floating past the skyscrapers of New York, the Hindenburg was a titan. Stretching over 800 feet long, nearly the length of 3 football fields, it dwarfed everything else in the air and could cross the Atlantic Ocean in half the time of the fastest ocean liners. Inside, it operated as a flying luxury hotel. Passengers walking its decks found high-end dining rooms, comfortable lounges, and panoramic observation windows with unobstructed views of the ocean below. This combination of scale and elite hospitality convinced travelers that massive airships would be the permanent standard for international travel. Keeping a steel and canvas structure of that magnitude suspended in the air relies on a simple requirement. You must fill the ship with a gas lighter than the air surrounding it. This cross-section highlights the enormous internal gas cells. To lift the ship, engineers utilized hydrogen, an incredibly light but highly volatile element. Engineered for stable helium, those safety cells were instead filled with reactive hydrogen, turning the entire craft into a floating chemical risk. Germany didn't choose hydrogen because it was superior. They were forced into it by geopolitical tensions with the United States, which controlled the global supply of helium and refused to export it to the Nazi regime. To maintain national pride and commercial schedules, the Hindenburg flew with a known catastrophic vulnerability built directly into its core. In May 1937, the Hindenburg completed its transatlantic journey and arrived at the Lakehurst Naval Air Station in New Jersey to begin its landing. The weather was deteriorating rapidly. Highly charged electrical storms were moving through the area, forcing the crew to delay the docking procedure. Investigators later pointed to the sharp, turbulent turns the airship made during this difficult approach. The stress likely caused a structural failure, creating a physical tear in one of the rear gas cells. That tear allowed hydrogen gas to pour out of the cell, pooling invisibly against the upper fabric of the ship's tail. Then came the ignition. As the crew dropped landing ropes to the ground, the highly charged storm interacted with the airship's skin, generating a massive buildup of static electricity. An invisible mechanical leak had pooled the fuel, and the turbulent weather provided the spark. A routine landing procedure had become a chemical trap. Near the tail section, the static charge sparked, connecting with the pocket of leaking hydrogen. The fire moved with terrifying speed. Hydrogen burned so rapidly, fueling a chain reaction that consumed the 800-foot structure in less than 40 seconds. Total panic erupted on the ground. The heat melted the metal frame. The craft lost its shape and collapsed onto the airfield. Years of engineering and the image of luxury were destroyed by a chemical reaction that lasted less than a minute. 35 people on board and 1 person on the ground lost their lives. Miraculously, dozens of others managed to escape the burning wreckage before the ship was completely incinerated. Aviation accidents were a known risk of the era, but this disaster occurred in front of live radio broadcasters and newsreel cameras. The unedited, emotional reaction of the radio reporter captured the horror in real time, delivering the trauma of the event directly to millions of listeners worldwide. The physical crash ended the life of the Hindenburg, and the global broadcast of that fire ended the public's confidence in the entire airship industry. The industry reaction was swift. Commercial Zeppelin flights were grounded immediately, and passenger airship development stopped across the globe. To fill the void in transatlantic travel, engineers focused on heavier-than-air planes. These 4-engine propeller aircraft soon became the new standard for crossing the ocean. Other aviation accidents in the following years resulted in higher death tolls, yet those events were largely forgotten, while the Hindenburg remained a permanent symbol of disaster. The burning airship remains a lesson in technological hubris, a reminder that the public will not forgive an industry that gambles with fundamental safety for the sake of prestige.